So I'll say this, it is also unprecedented that a president takes as many shouted questions as this president has, and he has.
I know the last
Okay.
administration, and I'll tell you, almost every day on
Okay, well, we'll certainly get the data and share that with all of you.
About the press conference on this trip, 4-day trip to 2 countries. Why can't the president take questions from the press?
Right now, we just don't have anything on the books for a press conference at this moment. The president always loves to take your questions, shouted questions. Look, when it comes to these types of events, as you know, being the president of at one point of the association, these are relationships that we have, right, with these countries. So when it comes to 2+2s or anything like that, clearly that is not just on us, that is also on the country that we're visiting. But as far as a standalone press conference, I just don't have anything to share at this time.
Is the decision whether to have a press conference abroad in Ireland a unilateral decision, or are the Irish weighing in on that too?
No, I think I was very clear. I said when it comes to a press conference, standalone press conference, which does not include the country, we just don't have a decision. Well, we're just not going to happen. It's not in the books to happen on this trip.
It's your decision alone, right? The Irish aren't weighing.
I mean, if it's a press conference that the president is leading on his own, yes, it's a standalone. That's why I said a standalone press conference that is not happening on this trip.
I'm just not hearing a reason why you're not having one then, because to not have one here, you're saying it's because it's not just up to us?
No, I didn't say that. I said when it comes to a 2+2, regardless if we're away or regardless if the country's coming here, we do have, that is a discussion that we have with the country, right? That is a conversation that's had, and we do not do that unilaterally. So I was making a comparison. I was laying out that process, which I know every time a head of state visits, or even if we go to another country, this question comes up of a 2+2. And so I was just laying out the process, as I've done many times at this podium. I'm just saying at this time, we do not have a press conference, a standalone press conference for this president. I know that it is of interest. I'm just giving you the answer of that.
And then the second question has to do with the lack of a press conference during the president's upcoming trip, and the lack of press conference that we see in general from this White House. I represent a news organization that owns 113 television stations, and a question that I'm often asked, and I don't know the answer to, so I'll ask you that question. Is the administration trying to protect the president from our questions? Please answer
Absolutely
that question.
not. Absolutely not.
So why the lack of any interaction in a formal setting to have a press conference?
I mean, the president takes shouted questions. I understand, John. I understand. I've dealt with this question about 3 times already. I understand. It is the job of you all to ask this question to me. Totally get that, and that's not a problem at all. But certainly, the president many times has stood in front of all of you, has taken questions on his own, because he wanted to see what was all on your minds. He wanted to see what the questions you all were going to ask him, and he wanted to answer them directly. That has happened multiple times, many times during this administration, and that will certainly continue to be. When it comes to a formal press conference, I don't have anything to share with you at this time.
It's just one last thing.
Yeah, sure.
Just to button it up. You recognize that as it relates to prior administrations, the president's predecessor, President Obama, President George W. Bush. I've been here long enough to have covered President Bill Clinton. This is not the norm. The norm is we do get an opportunity to ask the questions to the president about domestic and foreign policy issues in a formal setting at some point. And you choose that point, but we haven't had that opportunity in quite some time.
So I'll say this, it is also unprecedented that a president takes as many shouted questions as this president has, and he has.
I know the last
Okay.
administration, and I'll tell you, almost every day on
Okay, well, we'll certainly get the data and share that with all of you. I hear, John, I hear your question, I heard Zeke's question, I hear you on the press conference, on a formal press conference. We get this probably every couple of months when you guys ask us about a formal press conference. I don't have anything to share with all of you at this time, and I'll just leave it there.